So Jahmyr Gibbs left practice early today, being evaluated with a leg injury. And we don't have much news on this. My early guesstimation is that this is more precautionary than anything, but you don't like seeing this. I mean, this isn't good. You don't ever want a player missing time. You don't ever want a player being evaluated for a leg injury. But I do believe this is probably more precautionary than it is anything else. We'll know more probably during the live stream. So everybody hang tight. People are just kind of like feeding into the panic. We have nothing that's pointing toward this thing being crazy serious, but we'll have more as the show rolls on. But being evaluated with a leg injury, Ceedee Lamb deal looming, in my opinion, but there's still no concrete evidence that Jerry's waking up on the right side of the bed tomorrow, the next day. But we do need that in order for Jerry to get a deal done. Dak Prescott news. JJ McCarthy, a little banged up right now. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. Is my intro loading? I don't think my intro's...
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So, before panic sets in, guys, realize that we don't know anything yet. I think it's only going to do you no good to panic and assume that we've got something crazy to deal with here. But certainly not good. It could be totally precautionary, and it might even, in some way, no one ever likes to see a player get banged up. And in some ways, though, it might be something of a blessing in disguise that people are going to freak out about this situation and overreact, and he falls to 2.2, 2.4 in your fantasy football draft upcoming this weekend or next week or whatever. So hang tight on this one. There's nothing to go on. I'll keep refreshing all of my sources, looking at my chat, my DMs, my chat groups that are as close as I can get to the situation, on top of, obviously refreshing X and Schefter, Rappaport, all those boys, all the beat writers. I've got a line on it, okay? So I'm looking at it throughout the entire show. If he was to be, let's say, hurt significantly, Montgomery would go up in value, but I think it's too premature to start talking negative like that. This could be nothing. He could literally could have had a potential blister. Remember the blister gate over in New York when Aaron Rodgers was rubbing his Achilles? He sat down, took his shoe off. Everybody started freaking out. He had a blister from his shoe. So let's just calm down before anybody freaks out and it makes a big mess of this thing, causing mass hysteria, like on a plane when someone vomits and then everybody starts vomiting all over and everybody thinks everybody's sick. It's hysteria. So hang tight. There's no information. Just left practice. Was evaluated with the leg injury. That's it. Okay. Could be some soreness. That's it. So hang tight. We'll have more information on that. Dak Prescott said his ankle is fine and he's 1,000% sure he'll return to practice on Tuesday. That's good news for anybody wondering about that situation, but he still does not have his star wide receiver, Ceedee Lamb. Lamb, if you guys may have seen on social media, has his he changed his banner. Let me show you his banner on X right now because it's causing some controversy right now because he's changing his banner to have him and Hollywood Brown his best friend that anybody could have. This is like the JD5 Ayuk situation. Is Ceedee Lamb trying to reunite with Hollywood Brown? Is he try? Let me pull up his X account real quickly. I'll take a screenshot and put it up. So here is Ceedee Lamb's account on X. And causing controversy, making waves, doing what players often do in social media, and point to things that they want to be highlighted or exposed, then get mad when we overexpose them. Here is Ceedee Lamb and Hollywood Brown walking together. Maybe this is just him saying, here's my buddy. Maybe he wants to go play in Kansas City, but it's not going to change anything. He's not going anywhere, but maybe he requests a trade. Maybe this is his one move away from saying, Jerry, the ball's in your court. If you don't do something fast, I am going to start to make more chaos than you're aware that I'm able to make. He already LOL'd as a response to Jerry Jones's I have no urgency to sign Ceedee Lamb the other day. And then Lamb Chops responded LOL. I really, really do think that the way Jerry Jones backtracked from that, if anybody didn't see that yesterday, I talked about it yesterday. Jerry Jones came out and basically begged Ceedee Lamb to forgive him when he said, I didn't say that. I was just saying that we're not urgent to sign him now because he's not going to play on the field tonight. So we don't need him tonight. Therefore, we're not urging or having urgency or some sort of angst involved. And Jerry's bad with words lately. Like, he doesn't know what he's saying. He just starts rambling. He's like, the angst involved in the algorithm of my of the squirrel. He doesn't know what he's saying. But he's basically, I think, backtracking. He says, Ceedee, you're missed. If you don't think you're missed, you're missed. And there is urgency, just not today, not getting him on the field today. It's such a stupid way that Jerry tried to backtrack on this thing. My point being that Lamb has had it, and Lamb didn't respond in a weird way. Lamb responded in a nonchalant, I could care less way. He just wrote LOL. He just doesn't care. If there's a response that screams more, I'm not coming in, better than that, he's so over Jerry. He absolutely is not even angry at Jerry's response. He just said LOL like he's a nutbag. And I think Jerry realizes he has no leverage. He has no leverage. This man has all of the leverage. He doesn't have to do anything. He can do whatever the hell he wants. I smell a contract extension coming by midweek, maybe Thursday, Friday. Could be something that happens on a Friday. Sometimes it's better to fire somebody on a Friday. Sometimes it's better to tuck your tail in between your legs and crawl back to Ceedee Lamb on a Friday. So I think that it's going to probably happen this week. I just sense it. Because otherwise, Lamb is fueling up and starting to absolutely get ready for a campaign against the world. And I believe this is just a small little, I don't know, maybe message, little telegraph message that, like, you want me to start making waves? I'll start making waves. Everybody's talking about banner change. Is he going to KC? Is he going to play with Hollywood Brown? And Hollywood Brown just got hurt. And then you got people saying, well, Smitty, send him over to the Niners. That's not going to happen. Niner fans, get out of here. You think you're going to trade Ayuk and Ceedee Lamb? Lamb is on a whole nother planet, whole nother plateau. It's not even close. You couldn't get this deal done if you tried. But it's causing a bunch of chaos, right? Whether it makes sense logically or not. People are talking about, what about over here? What if he goes over here? What if he goes over here? Lamb doing this is causing chaos, and Jerry's getting bombarded. And I think he's going to want that to subside. And if Jerry really is about, we're all in for the now, we're all in, he's got to get Lamb on the field. Even if he doesn't want to pay Dak, he's got to pay Lamb. And if you don't know that you need Lamb for the future, if you really are contemplating that you're not going to sign him, you don't know what in the hell you're doing. Someone's got to step in and take power of attorney over his decision-making with this team. If he truly believes that Lamb's got to go out there and prove himself, he doesn't know what in the hell he's doing. So, anyway, Hollywood Brown, Ceedee Lamb, Lamb Chops, get lambed. I know somebody getting lambed right now. It's the checking account of Jerry Jones.
Get lambed.
That's the sound of his account. there's not a ton of news today. We're going to open the phone lines again. We don't know anything about Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm going to keep refreshing all my sources, keep refreshing X, keep checking my chat groups of my people that are as connected as I can get to the situation from like a beat writer and fan page perspective. I've got my boys in San Francisco. I've got some peeps in Detroit, that are just a little bit more ground level. So I keep my feelers out. And if anybody's going to hear anything quickly, it's not that they're breaking it. Again, nobody has sources on these kinds of levels where, I'm not breaking the Jahmyr Gibbs news. I'm waiting for it. But I have my feelers as close as I can to the initial sources I can try and find. So I'm going to see if I can get a lead on this while we're on the show. My early guesstimation is that he's being evaluated for a leg injury versus he injured his leg clear as day on field. He was carted to the locker. There's nothing like that being reported. So evaluated usually means he's being evaluated for a leg injury. There's some sort of soreness or tightness or something that caused them to go evaluate him. Okay, it's not like he injured, his ACL or ripped his knee up on the field or something. We're not hearing any reports of that at all. Probably had some tightness. This happens this time of year. You don't like to have a calf strain or anything like that. I'm not saying it's a calf injury. We don't like to have any sort of news that triggers. Dave, you're coming in here with fake news. Somebody time out Dave for 5 minutes. Dave Waters for 5 minutes. Can I get a mod to time him out for 5 minutes? Don't be in here spreading rumors about ACL tears or anything. So, mods, take care of that for me. Dave, learn your lesson. Learn your lesson, Dave. I think we'll know something today. Hopefully we'll know something while we're on this show. If not, and it breaks later tonight, I'll be back live to give you an update on Jahmyr Gibbs. So, there's that. Yeah, Sick Nasty, I think, put him in timeout. There we go. Dave, you're in purgatory. And take a lap. He wasn't asking ACL. There's no question mark attached to it. If not, he needs to learn his grammar. And second of all, Dave is constantly doing stuff like that. So, there you go. There you go, pal. No other news other than, what did I have here? I had something else on the screen here. Dak Prescott, we did that. That's it. We got to open phone line. Oh, no, here we go. We do have a couple more pieces. Let me put this over here. J.J. McCarthy will not participate in tonight's practice due to a knee soreness. We'll keep an eye on that. Nothing to be extremely alarmed about yet, but we'll keep an eye out on that. Dak, I just talked about that. We've got more Ceedee news update here from Rappaport, but nothing in particular. They're just discussing this injury. Ready for the Lamb with an this is the Lamb update. So Ceedee Lamb with an eye of returning to be fully ready for the regular season. I don't think they're giving us any update on that though. I'm gonna get rid of that. Here's more on the Gibbs situation, and this is all from yesterday. We're still awaiting the Ayuk situation and what's going to happen there. Apparently Ayuk only wants to play for the Steelers or the Niners. We know that the Commanders are in there as well, but they're not in conversations. But hey, the Steelers weren't either at one point when they jumped out of the talks and then came circling back in. So you never know. That's all we got. That's the news for right now. So dial on in. Little X or whatever the hell your name is. I'm done with fantasy, bro. Why are you done with fantasy? What on earth would make you say that? What about today makes you say you're done with fantasy? Because somebody's being evaluated? Are you resorting to worst case scenario in your head? Are you assuming the worst? Little? What are you talking about? Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Some of these people hit me with a phone call or two, and some of you are going for timeouts. Signasty's going to put you in timeout. If you say something fake about Jahmyr Gibbs right now, it's Panic Some Peter that's in here. And if anybody does it repeatedly, how about you just be removed from the channel? How's that? If you want to test Signasty right now. Okay, hit me with a couple calls. A couple of you Panic Peters dial in. I'm sure you're absolutely worried to hell about this situation. We got 504 of you in here from YouTube. Circle on in and hit that like button first and foremost. Your live 661 caller. Where are you calling from? What is your name?
Hello, Smitty.
What's up? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Smitty. It's Marcus. I'm calling from Bakersfield, California.
What's up, Marcus? What can I do for you?
Hey, thank you, first of all, for the great channel. I love your channel. You won me some leagues, and we're going to do it again. That's why I'm calling you.
Oh, boy.
I got a question right now.
Yeah.
I got pick one in my 12-team league coming up next week, and the Ceedee Lamb stuff is really pissing me off. And I know you like Bijan, but damn, is he really number one over Tyreek Hill and Lamb?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't put it out there if I didn't really believe it, you know. Like, it's out there for a reason. The reason I talk about it is because I do believe it. I'm not just, yeah, you're right, I'm just kidding. Like, I don't know. I don't know what you want me to say.
I got you.
I mean, of course, there's a debate. There's a debate to be had. Like Ceedee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Bijan, CMC. It's a huge
PPR.
dilemma.
Full PPR.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge dilemma. There's no answer. I know you want an answer. There's no answer. I wish I could give you
I asked that first because I want to get to the second round. Now, what if Achane is there? Is it cool to go Tyreek and Achane?
Yeah, I mean, the offense is very potent. I'm not scared of that. I'd rather go Kyron if possible, but Achane's fantastic there. Debo's great in round 2. There's a lot of great plays in round 2, but definitely love Achane, Kyron, and Debo right now in round 2. And you can pretty much try and grab one of those guys in round 2 most of the time.
Okay. Yeah, because I want to get I got one more and I'll get off. One more.
Yeah.
You see, I already did my super flex draft, and I think I crushed it. I got hurt, Stevie 5 and Love somehow. You guys are idiots. That's neither here nor there. But the guy I really like out of all of those is Jalen Wright. Is he a must draft guy? And what round do you think I should do it in a IDP 12-teamer?
I can't give you. There's too many variables there. IDP as well. Everybody's IDP league is different. I don't do IDP for several reasons because one, there's just not enough people to even want to consume it. Number two, every IDP league is so different that you can't even produce content for it because the scoring's different, the lineup formations are different. Yeah. That changes the value. You can't even have a good conversation about. So I have no ability to tell you that. All I can tell you is how far to draft Jalen Wright if he goes in round 11, 12, whatever in best ball, 1 QB. I imagine he's going a spot or two later, but you just got to monitor where he's falling in the pre-rank, bro. And if he's like the 5th running back available, he's going to get snagged if you got to wait 12 picks. So just keep an eye on the pre-rank.
We do our drafts. The thing about the league I do is we do them in person. Yeah. And the beer's flowing. So hopefully I'm banking on some of these suckers going IDP horny crazy, and I'm gonna get Achane and Wright. Yeah,
get all three. Get all three. All right, later. Appreciate you, Marcus.
Bullshit.
Yeah, get all three. All right, later. Don't let anybody tell you not to grab all three running backs. Anybody telling you that is a repeating Roger, a regurgitating Roger, or a regurgitating Robin. Who's on the phone right now? 661. Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Smitty? It's me, Andrew Silva, the other Silva brother.
Andrew, we got the other Silva on the phone. Andrew Silva, Marco Silva, the Silva brothers. Glad to have you both back. What can I do for you? Yeah. Where are you calling from, by the way?
I just had a quick question.
Where are you calling from?
In Portland.
Portland, okay.
I just had a quick question on Jahmyr White. I have total faith in him, but I don't know if I can trust that offense. Do you believe in them this year or not?
I hear you, and that's my one concern as well. That's my one concern, bro. You know, I go back and forth on whether I'm not saying I'm taking him off the Moon Man list. I'm just saying if push comes to shove, Ramondre and Jahmyr are the most vulnerable to be bumped off. Ramondre could be he's like a comeback player. You know, he's a bounce back, revenge tour guy. So I'm okay removing him if I need to make room for somebody. I don't want to have everybody in the NFL on the Moon Man list, so I have to make some tough calls. But Jahmyr worries me. He's a monster, absolute monster, but it is a hamstring injury. So it looks like it's a hamstring injury for Jahmyr Gibbs. The severity of it, we don't know. It could be a slight tear. You know, you never like to see this, but it is looking like it is a hamstring injury that's coming from Adam Schefter. So we'll have to play this by ear in terms of the severity. If it's tightness, not a problem. If it's, you know, a very, very, very low grade, you know, injury, then we're talking about him sitting out until week 1 and then coming into week 1 and just hoping to God that this isn't something that gets re-injured. If it does, it can linger all year. This is certainly going to lower his draft value a ton. So this could end up being one of those blessing in disguise situations, but at least it's not an ACL. It's not something like that. I mean, everybody can at least rest easy that it's not some sort of massively crazy. Here's the report here from Adam Schefter. So Jahmyr Gibbs suffered a hamstring injury at today's practice. That's all we got. We don't have a single bit of other information yet. I am refreshing it every single second. We have nothing. I'll let you know when I have more as the show moves along. But hamstring injury, and most people like to just clump these together and say, oh, hamstring injury, that's going to linger all year. It doesn't necessarily work like that. There are grades. There's grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. So we have no information. Like, if anybody's going to say, how do you think this is going to impact? I don't know. No one knows until we know what grade it is. Is it hamstring soreness? Is it tightness? Is it something that, like, maybe, like, sometimes you have, like, cramping in that area, and it's not that anything's torn. It's just sore. You know, you've strained it. You've overworked yourself. The calf strain for Christian McCaffrey is as concerning. This isn't more concerning than the calf injury. They're both potentially putting their 2024 fantasy football beginning part of the season maybe in flux, maybe not. But you just got to ask yourself, with the little information we have right now, and if you're drafting, let's say, in an hour, are you going to take the gamble that he falls to 14 overall and you're going to draft him? I would, personally. There's nothing here that suggests he's out a long period of time. There's nothing here that suggests he's not. We still have very little information. If it comes out that it's a very minor, you know, the best grade you can get, it's not a severe grade 3, anything like that would require surgery. You're talking about just a minor, barely even grade 1. This is something that he takes 2-3 weeks off. He'll be fine. So hang tight on.
See, I'm kind of in the dilemma in my fantasy league where I had Ceedee Lamb in round 2 and Gibbs in round 3, and I don't know if I should keep them both or what do I do?
I mean, I right now I'm not assuming the worst. I think a lot of people will assume the worst, but this is going to be nice in some ways. Like, it's going to give them second round grade value. I'm all in. I'm all in the second round. This now injects the risk. Like, let's say he missed 2 or 3 games. You get him in mid-round 2, you're getting a league winner. So it all just really depends on where his value goes from here. If let's say he didn't fall to round number 2 and you ended up drafting at 8 overall, that could hurt. But let's say he sits out even 1 or 2 games and you get him at 15 overall, you're packaging in every bit of that risk. And then if he comes back early or something like that, like in week 2, you'll be fine. We'll see what happens. Joel gifting 10 gifted memberships. Joel to the moon. Appreciate that, Joel. Thank you so much for doing that. All right, Silva, hold on 1 second, bro. I'll come back to you. Let me read these super chats, then I got to go over to Elgin and then go over to the Bruce. So, Andrew Silva, mute yourself. Don't go anywhere if at all possible. Riff, appreciate your $5 hauler. PPR Keeper 2. St. Brown as my 6th round. Kyren as my 9th, Josh Allen as your first rounder. You don't tell me if it's super flex here, so you're not going to keep Josh Allen in round 1. If it is super flex, then you have to. And if it's keep 2, I mean, look, I'm leaning St. Brown. Where's St. Brown? Chase in 1, St. Brown in 6. Yeah, St. Brown and Kyren. I mean, landslide, easy. Not even a question in my mind. The amount of talent you can put with those guys at those draft slots that Josh Allen and Chase would consume, by far and away, you've got the better team by keeping St. Brown, and that's easy. Joel Bailey with the $2 hauler sitting on the sidelines, says Joel. Joel also says, just came in to the show. Love the channel. Thank you. Appreciate you, my guy. Legend with the $5 hauler says, 10-man, should I trade my Stroud plus Pitts plus Zach Moss for Dak McBride? No, I'd keep Stroud and Pitts. To be honest with you, Pitts is so good that I don't want to downgrade from Dak to Stroud. And it may not be a downgrade, but you can't guarantee me that because Ceedee's holding out right now. And Dak, who knows? I don't know if he'll repeat exactly what he did. I have Jaden Daniels on my bench, and running backs are Achane and Gibbs. I would definitely keep Stroud if I'm you. That's just a strong play. Thank you, Joel. Appreciate you. I moved Jaden Reed, Ingram, and Jahmyr, and a second rounder for Kyler, and 2 first rounders and a third. Smitty approved. Jahmyr, Jaden Reed. I mean, you didn't say if it's super flex. If so, of course it's a smash. And if it's not, and you have no other quarterback, I definitely like this move for you. If Kyler becomes your starter, I'm fine with that. Smitty approved if it is. And if super flex, you crush him, but I don't think it is. Thank you, Smitty, for taking the call. Ready to rock it. Appreciate it. Thank you, Dick. Appreciate you for dropping the super chat, pal. And then Mahmood, $5 hauler. Every offseason is good for possible suspensions, a few DUIs, holdouts, followed by training camp injuries to top 10 fantasy players every damn year. You got to be able to be tough to be in this business as a player, especially as an analyst, especially somebody that puts a lot of predictions out there, and then somebody gets hurt, and then everybody tries to get all upset, hot and bothered, and crazy about everything. It is what it is. You got to be able to bob and weave. You got to have guys like Jalen Wright on your roster to step up when the time is needed. You got to have the combinations, the cuffing. Having Achane, Mostert, and Wright gives you the ability to weather through anything. Having Kyren and Corum gives you the ability to weather through anything. Benson and Connor, weather. Allen and Hall, weather. Not every cuff is worthy. I'm merely pointing out the top 5 cuffs in fantasy. Mason right now, but I think it still could be eventually Mitchell. So hang tight. Phone lines are open. Let's go over to Elgin. Elgin, you're live. Thank you for the super chats, everybody.
Cool, Smitty. How you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Oh, right. I got a quick question. I'm in a dynasty league. 2 players. Okay, so let me just read my running backs to you. I have Kyren Williams. I have David Montgomery, James Cook, and I have who the next player?
You got to be a little quicker, bro. We got to have faster phone calls in this manner. I got to hang up.
I got you.
Go ahead. Hit me with the question.
So if you had a chance to get Jonathan Brooks or Brock Bowers, who would you take for dynasty long term?
Bowers, long term. Jonathan Brooks I like, but he's coming back from an ACL. We don't know what his team situation is going to be like even a year from now. I like him a lot, but Bowers is generational. He could be the #1 dynasty tight end, in a calendar year from now. Easy question. All right, Elgin, hang tight.
Right.
Mute yourself real quick. Bruce, you're live. We got to keep you guys, now that we're getting into the busy time, and I mean no offense, Elgin, no offense to you, bro. Like, don't take it the wrong way. I think everybody should be a little bit, tougher than that too. Don't get all sensitive on me if I have to move on from you. Hang up. You can dial back in. But we're getting to the nitty gritty right now. We're getting to the time of year where the views are plentiful, the news is popping, the phone calls are coming in, the super chats are all over. We got to be quick on our feet. We can't be, hey, Smitty, I saw a movie last night. It was a fantastic movie. Let me read off my entire team. No one cares about... No, I'm not saying this to you, Elgin. I'm saying this to the next caller, okay? Elgin's my man. Elgin, we're giving Elgin a standing ovation, actually. I want Elgin to know this isn't about Elgin. But no one cares about your entire team. If it helps me answer the question, I'll do my best. But we can't be going through the whole story, backstories. And we got to go quick. No, the hellos are great and everything, but we got to move quick. Bruce, you're live. Go.
Hey, Smitty, with Jahmyr Gibbs getting hurt, until we find out his injury length, how does that affect Monty? Is that a big handcuff now?
I mean, here's the thing. Are people going to overreact on Monty and draft him too high? I'm not going to take Monty higher right now. I'll let other people do that and bump somebody down. Are people going to overreact on Gibbs and let him fall into mid 2? I'm going to jump on that. I'm going to be on that train more so than I'm going to go chasing Gibbs or chasing Monty on this news. We have nothing. But he left practice with a hamstring injury. We don't know the severity of it. I keep refreshing, and I will continue to refresh until we get some sort of grade or reassurance that it's not a big deal. I can kind of see Campbell going up to the mic and saying, yeah, he's got a little hamstring thing. Don't think it's a big concern. We're just being precautionary. We got a long season ahead of us. We're just being precautionary with it. Like if I had a little soreness in my hamstring, what would I do? If I tore it, I'd be on the ground. I'd be on a cart. It would be pretty big news. Hamstring injury. He left with a hamstring injury. Smitty left with a hamstring injury. When you leave practice and you don't know what it is because you're not holding it, you're just kind of like, I'm going to get this checked out. You get evaluated, and that usually means it's a lesser situation because they're looking into it. They're probing into it. Okay, you got some tightness. Let's see. Okay, why don't we sit you out just to be safe? I mean, you got tightness back there. We don't want it to turn into even a grade 1 because it's not. It's just strained or it's just a little tightness. And McCaffrey's might be that degree too, where it's just like it's a little sore. He's an older player. Let's just have him sit out. So we have nothing. All I know is the amount of panic Peters. You should look at the messages, the comment section of Schefter or Rappaport's Gibbs being evaluated with a leg injury, and that's it. There was no information. This is when they first dropped it. It was like, F this, F that. My team's season's over. It was nothing but negative speculation to the craziest degree you could find. Like, everybody's such a pessimistic Peter. Everybody's a tough guy. Everybody's Gibbs to the moon. I'm riding Gibbs train. And then as soon as there's a little bit of a bump in the road, everybody turns into an absolute folding chair. Like, I can't tell you how many people were so tough, flying high, Gibbs to the moon. Now they're pessimistic about everything. He's done. Oh my God, my season's over. Well, prepare a little bit. Like, how's your team look? Is your team that bad that if Gibbs sat out 1 week or just kind of makes you scared that you're not going to go out there and still win? Like, I've trained you better than that. Like, this is ridiculous. There's a bunch of crying Caleb's. Not in this particular chat in my show, but just everybody out there crying like crazy over it. He's got a hamstring injury. Let's see what happens. I
did a mock draft, and someone took Monty in the 4th.
Good. I'm glad. I hope he goes higher. And I don't hate Monty. Monty was a 9-10 touchdown guy anyway. Like that, but like let somebody overreact on that side of the fence. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, hang tight. Let me go back over to Andrew Silva. Andrew Silva, what else you got for me, pal? Actually, Andrew, hang tight. Let me get these 3 super chats out of the way real quickly. Superfish says, missed the live, but love the Packers video. Thank you, Superfish. The Packers video, if you haven't watched the Packer video, it's basically go smash, go draft more of these guys. Here's some ways to dominate a draft using this entire board of players. So go check out that video. It's up on YouTube. Thank you. Appreciate you. Superfish. Zach with a $2 says 12-man PPR 4 wide receivers neighbors at 2.2 in redraft. What? Neighbors at 2.2?
Spin Smitty disapproved.
Look, I like him, guys, but what are we doing? You got no room for any sort of... He's got an ankle... This is wild. Neighbors has an ankle injury, and it's presumed to be minor. Gibbs has an unknown, could very well be super minor, hamstring injury. He's done for the year, according to everybody. He's like, oh my God, I'm Monty in round 3 or 4. Like, how does that make sense? Number 2, he's got no quarterback. You can't draft him at 2.2, pal. I know you want him badly, but don't force a round peg in a square hole. If we got to be careful. Tucker with a $10 wad
to the moon.
On screen. Tucker, appreciate you dropping a 10 wad. You are the man, the myth, the legend. Drafting from the 4 spot in a 10-man, thinking of going Bijan, London, Allen. I mean, this sounds like you're planning what you're going to pick, though, bro. Like, I get it. Maybe this is one of the scenarios, but don't go, I think I'm going, and you're going to draft these. You've got to see who falls to you. Thinking of going, I mean, you got it all planned out. You know who you're going to marry. You're going to work here. You're going to get this car. You got your whole life planned out. Live by a little bit of risk here. Thinking of going Bijan, London, Allen, Bijan, okay, you have a couple different options. Bijan, Achane, Allen. I'm sorry. I overspoke. You are a little risky, aren't you? You're trying to live on the edge. You got at least 3 avenues you could go. Bijan, Achane, Allen. My bad. Bijan, Achane, Debo, or Bijan, Achane, Kamara. Still feels very planned out, but I think Bijan, Kyren, Bijan, Achane is where I tend to lean, and there I am planning myself. My life out. But I love Allen, but if it's 1 QB and it's 10-man, I'm very apt to go early quarterback, especially in 10-man, because you got to separate yourself. Everybody's going to have a solid team. But I'll probably say I would let Mahomes or one of those other QBs, one of those other QBs fall versus taking Allen in 2. Just because I want Bijan or Kyren. And then in round 3, I'm smashing one of the big 3 quarterbacks for sure, if they're available. So, yeah, I like your plan of attack. But as far as which one to lock in, if I was to lock in one in my mind, I would say Bijan, Achane, or Bijan, Kyren. As far as Allen, Debo, I would go with the flow. I like Tank Dell and Allen versus going Debo and missing out on a big 3 QB, if that makes sense, Tucker. So that QB in round 3 seems to be very, very solid. This one, and he was definitely not planning on his whole life. That was on me. I should have kept reading. $10 hauler. This one from
to the moon.
Whatever. 333. 2-man keeper league. Have the 5th pick. Who do I keep? Bijan round 1, Ceedee round 2, London round 5, Dell round 16, McBride round 17. This is one of those things where you gotta write out your teams and the options. I almost can't even give you the exact answer here, just to say, what would the London team look like? What players are available? If it's Kyren and London, that's better than drafting Bijan in round 1, because you're getting Kyren in round 1 and you're keeping London, and then you got to look at who you would have gotten in round 5. Ceedee Lamb in 2 is a pretty damn good deal. But again, what would your team look like with London and that second-round player? Who's that second-round player? If it falls off dramatically, and I don't think it does because it's a one-man keeper, I think you're looking at maybe an Achane or a Debo. So Achane or Debo with London, is that better than Ceedee Lamb? You could be getting into a territory where you can argue that. But I definitely think that, London and Kyren, round 1 Kyren or round 1 Achane, or round 1, whatever. London feels like the best value. I like Dell in round 16. Probably say Ceedee Lamb or the London Avenue, but you're going to have to write your teams out. You know the player pool that's available, so I can't give you an exact answer, but I'd say push comes to shove without having any further details. Lamb in round 2 sounds pretty sweet. If you could write it out and say, no, but in round 2 I could get this still, then it's like, okay, Josh Allen's in round 2, Josh Allen in London in 5, or Ceedee Lamb in 2, and then whoever's in 5. Now, if you can get a quarterback like AR5 in 5, or Jordan Love, then Jordan Love and Ceedee Lamb might be best. I'd say Ceedee Lamb round 2 initially. $2 hauler, hit that like button, says Joel. Appreciate you, Joel. Channel says, please assess the Steelers' offense and backfield. There's nothing to assess yet because we don't know who the quarterback is. Fields fumbled twice, but was it his fault? And, he did a lot of good. and the coaching staff talked about that, saying that all the good was taken away by the 2 fumbles, and I think people need to realize that Fields actually did some good. He was. He was what was it, 4 for 5? I mean, I don't know what people want for him in terms of a performance on those throwing plays. Kind of wild that people are willing to write off Fields after 2 fumbles. That they're working on that offensive line. It's not all his fault. Thank you, Channel. Appreciate you. All right, Andrew Silva, what else you got, pal? You're live. And again,
not much, man. I just want to say that I know I've been MIA for a while, but I took up that Smitty hat, and ever since I've been doing the draft, it's helped me win 3 national championships, so got to thank you for that.
Silva, appreciate you. Got another question, bro?
No, that was it. Just my question on Jahmyr White.
Okay. Yeah, Jahmyr White, anybody in the chat, is anybody worried about the offense? And maybe this is a better way to talk about it. Give me a couple other players that you're thinking about drafting, and I'll tell you whether Jahmyr White is better than those players.
Well, other than him, I'm really, really high on Kenneth Walker this year.
I like Walker more, way more.
Him and potentially DeAndre Swift, but I don't know about that.
I'm gonna have a video on Walker here very soon. They're talking up Walker in Seattle, and they're talking up Walker to the tune of like every down work. We're not hearing a lot of, hey, it's a two-headed monster. Charbonnet's so good, we got to get him involved. Like, if you ask him a question about Charbonnet, they're going to say something nice about him. And I'm not saying I don't love Charbonnet. He's a great cuff. Almost a must-cuff situation. You draft Walker, draft Charbonnet. But this is one of those things where, like, we're hearing a lot less of that than you would hear if they were trying to committee this thing. Walker to the mother freaking moon, bro. Yeah, totally. All right, Silva, hang tight real quickly. Bruce, you got anything else?
No, first I want to tell you that my sister went to school with Bo Melton.
Oh, yeah?
And, yeah, she actually graduated with him. And my question is, what do you think of him, actually? What do you think about him?
I think there's some potential. But I don't know that it's such a crowded wide receiver room anyway. Like he's one of those guys like Yoshi Voss that for the Bengals. If later on you feel, there's depth in your league or whatever to grab a whole, a big swing, type of player, then you could grab him. But, it's not like Melton's a rookie or anything. I think he's got upside, but it's just a crowded room, bro. It's a crowded room. An injury, sure. I think an injury happens and Bo Melton would be on our waiver wire show. And we'd be talking about him and he'd be deserving to be talked about. I'll give you that. That's certainly the case. But can you honestly, even in best ball, can you draft Bo Melton when you've got literally this handful of wide receivers ahead of him? You just can't expect that. But there's some good upside there.
Okay.
All right.
And Jackson Smith and Nigba, is he worth anything to you or no?
Yeah. Jackson Smith and Jigba, a fantastic player in a 3 wide receiver set offense finally. Making big plays. He's very special. Very much, I think, the second wide receiver in Seattle now that he's going to be on the field more. Love him. Love him. I think he's a home run wide receiver 3. And you can get him in that territory in a fantasy draft, especially a home league, a redraft home league. Easily available as your wide receiver 3-4. Like you could have a nice little rotation of a Christian Watson and JSN, or Wicks, Keon Coleman, and JSN is your wide receiver 3 rotation. No doubt about it. That's very, very doable. All right, Bruce, mute real quick. Hang tight. I'll come back for you if you got another question. Do you feel more confident with Vikings weapons after McCarthy's debut? Yeah, but you guys, I gave him props. I said he threw well. There's some good decisions he made. But he was playing against the second-team Raiders defense. We just have to curb it. It's not like we can anoint anything, we can't sit there and go, oh, now JJ will be fine. This is a preseason game against backups. So we need to see him do it. And Darnold's still, there. So, that's a problem, But yeah, I mean, it makes me feel a little bit better. I can't lie and say, maybe McCarthy will be able to feed JJ enough once he gets in there. But I need to see more. We can't go off of what we saw. But it's very promising. It's better than having a negative outing. Rate this squad. This is a $10 hauler from E-Rock. Appreciate E-Rock dropping the wad on screen. 3 wide receiver, 1 flex, 6-point passing TDs. Mahomes is going to throw for 45 touchdowns this year. He's going to score 45 to 50 total. It's just a huge advantage in a 6-point per TD league. JT, Javonte, you need another running back, that's for sure. Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Amari Cooper, McLaurin, Hollywood. I like this team, but there's a lot of players. I don't like DJ Moore. He's okay, but I don't like him at cost. I don't like Amari Cooper at cost. I like McLaurin. Hollywood just got hurt. Javonte, I like, but you can't rely on him yet. But we can definitely hope. So you definitely are missing, a player or two, but not something you can't trade into. And you also have Chase Brown on the bench. Chase Brown! You got Jalen Wright, Musgrave. This is a good squad. Would I try and package maybe, and I don't think you can sell Javonte. No one's going to buy him. But DJ Moore and, I don't know. This is tough. DJ Moore and, nobody really does 2 wide receivers for 1. But I would be trying to do that. But DJ Moore and, you just don't have a lot to go with. I don't want you to trade Chase Brown, and I don't know that anybody's going to take Javonte, but I think you wait. DJ Moore and Javonte and Amari and Javonte for 1 slightly better wide receiver running back would be, I guess, my goal, trying to get into a Tank Dell or something like that. Some people might say, I like Amari more than Tank Dell. That's fine. I don't. DJ Moore into, you could even go higher than Tank Dell, or I'd do it for Tank Dell, but you need a running back too. Chase Brown's an interesting RB2 if you had Zach Moss. So I don't know how attainable Zach Moss is for you, or if he's even on waivers. If he's on waivers, you better jump on that right away. Rockout says, check your DMs. Let's go do that real quick so we don't forget. Rockout, appreciate you. Rockout, here's Rockout's message for the day.
Chop popping offs going touchdown. Pay me now, so I go and take it over to the game. This is how we gotta go. Laying chopping in the building.
Nice job, Rockout. Try to keep them to about 10 to 12 seconds, if you can, so we can spit those out like they're woven into the show seamlessly. Thank you, Rockout. Rockout is got a special message to tell and a story to tell every single day. Josh from Cali, you're live.
Yo, Smitty. What's up, brother?
What's up?
Appreciate the consistency as always, man.
Yeah.
I got 2 questions for you, man.
Before you ask him, just real quickly for people that are coming in late, we have an update on Jahmyr Gibbs. He suffered a hamstring injury, but that's all we know. He's being evaluated for it. There's no severity given. It could be very minor. It could be just a strain. We have no idea. Being evaluated for a hamstring injury is different than, oh my God, he went off the field with what looks like a hamstring injury. He went off the field, no one knew what it was because they're just evaluating him, probably for soreness or something. So my early guess is that it's not a big deal, but people are going to freak out. And that's good for you if you haven't drafted yet, to be honest with you, because you can get him cheaper now. You can get him in the 2nd round, which is fantastic. Okay, go ahead, bro. What can I do for you, Josh?
Well, that segues into my question, brother. I was going to call and say, if I'm doing a Mania tonight, where am I taking Gibbs and where am I taking Monty?
I'd probably say, I don't know. I don't know where he's going to fall. The problem is the ADP won't be updated. So, if you're doing 2 drafts, you might be better in the second one, seeing how far he fell. But the problem is you're going to want him. So let's say you get the 13, you have the 13 pick. You're not going to let him fall past that maybe. And so you'll never be able to test it out. I think the blessing for you would be to do 2 of them. In the first one, you don't have a pick that would get him and you could see where he kind of goes. But that's 1 draft. That might not be indicative of what we're going to see, in every single draft. But we won't have an ADP update for a while. Not to mention we have no concrete information. You're going to have a lot of people say things like, It's going to linger, like, as if they know the severity of it. Things don't linger unless there's a certain severity level to it. Like, this is not a blanket. We live in a blanket statement world, unfortunately. And there are people out there that do injury advice and injury updates and stuff, and they don't know what in the hell they're doing. Like, there's a process to this. Is he an older player? No. So I'm not worried about it. The Christian McCaffrey, we're worried about it because he has a long injury history and he's an older player and he has a calf injury, and calf injuries can turn into Achilles tears and all that. So we're worried about it, but we're not overly panicking. I mean, is anybody not taking Christian McCaffrey at 5 overall? Like, we're still drafting him, but Gibbs is the same thing. Do you pump the brakes a little bit? Like, would I take him normally 7, 5, 8? If I had a pick there and I'm like, screw it, I'm taking Gibbs, he's my guy. Maybe I do go a different direction for now in that territory because I'm drafting so many drafts I can afford to go in 100 different directions. And then I get back to my top of round 2, I'm taking him. There's nothing here that tells me I need to be worried about week 1. We'll find out. But these don't just, I've seen a couple comments, these tend to linger. You don't know what linger. They don't tend to linger. If they're severe, they tend to linger. But you don't know what his injury is, how bad it is. It could be just soreness. We need to wait. They only tend to linger when they're bad. Like when they're severe, even if it's like a between grade 1 and grade 2, then yes, that's a problem, probably. That's something you need to watch, but he can still heal quickly. He's a young guy. How young you are definitely plays into it. So that's a great question. Okay, real quickly, Aldi, I'm going to get to your super chat in a second. Superfish, appreciate you. Edvin, I'm going to get to yours. Okay, go ahead with your second question, Josh, or your other question or whatever.
All right, cool, man, cool. Second question. I've been listening to the show all year, man. Haven't really missed too many shows. I appreciate them all. But I would be remiss if I'm not bringing this up, man, just because, I'm just, I gotta ask. It might piss you off a little bit, but I gotta ask, all right? A while back, you said, Rashid Rice left for dead. You even went as far as to say pick up the third-string fucking Redskins receiver over him, right? And then I think today or yesterday, you said Rashid Rice to the moon, right? I know you're not going to get them all. You said you wouldn't get them all. If you win 75%, that's amazing. Is there another bold prediction, or maybe not bold for you, but a prediction you've made where you kind of think that you're not as comfortable on that one? And which one would that be?
This wasn't a bold prediction. I never made a bold prediction on this one. I never made this on the Saturn board or the upside. I never made a prediction on it. We've talked about this at great length. Every day it's evolved and changed. And from the very beginning, we said could this get pushed out like Kamara's? Absolutely could. Like, could it get pushed out? Sure. And if it did, then we'd have to reassess and we'd have to take it for what it was. He is going to get a suspension. All indications point to 6 games, half a year. The question is, does it happen this year or next year? And as we get closer, and we have, so I don't even think this was a miss at all. It's just a matter of reading the news, and are his attorneys, is this situation getting pushed into 2025? And then all of a sudden he becomes in play again. He will get suspended. And when this first dropped, when we first reacted to it, we're like, oh my God, Texas law is coming down hard. And they will come down hard on him. He can't plea out of this one and say, oh, it's a tiny little misdemeanor. There's so many counts stacked against him, bro. He's going to have to plead guilty to 3 or 4 pretty severe ones to make the other ones go away. But this is always going to be an evolution. This is not you called this guy's going to absolutely miss X number of games. We don't have any of that information. So you have Hollywood Brown get hurt. You have a more likely chance that the suspension happens next year. Of course he's going to change in value. That's changing in value. That's not about missing. That's about reading the news and trying to adjust and adapt to the news. We got to digest this stuff live. There's no other person that comes live when something's happening, and you're going to get some reactions. A lot of people say that. Smitty, you once said this. Well, what about the other 7 shows right after that where we said, you know what? If he does push it forward, he's going to be more valuable. Of course, we'll be back to circle in and reevaluate that. But this isn't something to where, like, he's never playing again. Like, maybe we talked about that scenario. Like, this kid, cowards going off the freeway like that, and we're pissed off and bitter about how they left a bunch of injured people out there. But, like, bro, we've had tons of shows on, hey, what if he plays You know, half a year, what's he look like? Or what if this gets moved forward, then he's back on the board? Like, this isn't a new revelation. So I kind of disagree with how you categorize it. But yeah, Rashee Rice to the moon. As far as like other predictions, you're saying if I was to get something wrong, what would I think is vulnerable? I said earlier, Jahmyr White and Ramondre, because they're on bad offenses, those are susceptible predictions. But they may or may not come off if we need room for two guys. So they might not get locked in. Superfish dropping two $10 gifted membership. Superfish to the mother freaking moon. Thank you, Superfish. All right, last question, Josh, and I got to move on. Hurry up.
Hey, brother. Nobody delivers it like you, Smitty. I appreciate you, man.
All right, man.
Thanks a lot, brother.
All right, later. Eddie from Philly, you're live.
What were your thoughts on Keon Coleman's debut, and, you know, is he still a guy that's going to go to the moon?
What do you mean still a guy that could go to the moon? What would make that in question?
Just kind of like how they spread the ball out. You know, they got Curtis Samuel going in the screen, and a couple other guys.
How many throws? How many throws did Josh Allen have?
Not sure.
I'm just saying, like the way you worded that is like, are we still in? Are we like based on what we saw in the preseason game where Josh Allen barely played? Are we still in? Like, what? I'm taking away your Bijan card.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
If I had a Keon Coleman card, I'd take away your Keon Coleman card. Eddie? I mean, like, we can't react to one preseason game. Not to mention the guy here. Let me show you a practice clip from, I believe this was from this morning, or this was from yesterday. I think it was from this morning. Oh, looky here, back at it. Look at Keon Coleman grabbing this one. Look at that catch by Keon Coleman. He keeps doing these somersaults too at the end of catches. They're unbelievable. But this just happened. Are we still out? Let me pose the question to you. Are we still out on Keon Coleman after the preseason game, or does this flip us back in the direction of loving Keon Coleman? You know what I mean? Look, I'm not saying
I'm still in on it.
Okay, maybe I'll give you your Bijan card back, but no, I love Keon Coleman. Is there a chance he starts off like 2 or 3 games slower than we thought? Sure. Like, anything can happen, but this guy's heavily involved in the entire offense, the game plan, the first team marching down the field every day in practice. This is not something where he's, when the games actually start, he's going to be playing, third fiddle. He's the focal point in practice. He's the focal point whenever touchdowns are being grabbed in practice. And I've heard some people say, oh yeah, Curtis Samuel's a little bit more involved. All of these touchdowns that Coleman's grabbing left and right, I don't know where people are getting that. Is Samuel going to be involved? Sure. Is Shakir going to be involved? Sure. Is Kincaid going to be involved? Sure. But let's keep in mind what we're talking about here. Keon Coleman enters the second most vacated target situation in the National Football League. We better hope that Curtis Samuel's going to be involved. Otherwise, they're not going to do anything in Buffalo this year because they've got 58% of their targets vacated. So he can consume 80 or 90 receptions. I have a low ball prediction for him. 80 receptions, 1,100 yards, and 10 touchdowns. If he consumes 80 receptions, there's still a boatload of vacated targets ready to be consumed by every wide receiver, and Kincaid grabbing some of them. I'm not worried about it at one single bit. This guy's been so heavily involved in everything. Like you can't go off one or two drives and be like, oh my God, Curtis Samuel caught 2 passes. Keon Coleman didn't catch it until the backup came in. That's an overreaction, Oscar, right there. Love him.
Not definitely.
Coleman to the moon. All right, Eddie, appreciate you. Call back if you got another one. We'll give you your Bijan card back because you're in Philly, and the Philadelphia Eagles are gonna go nuts. We'll give you another try. All right, later, bro. Andrew Silva, any final thoughts before I kick you off the phone line? I'm going to get some new blood in here. Anything else, pal?
Nope. That was it.
All right, later, bro. Call in anytime.
All right, later.
All right, Superfish dropping another 10 WAD gifted membership.
To the moon.
Superfish dropped to 10, 20, 30, 40. I think 40 gifted memberships from Superfish. What are we doing?
Let him cook.
Yeah, buddy. Superfish to the moon. Where's my Denny? Where's my Denny hauler when I need it? Right here?
Alert. Super chat alert.
Appreciate you, Superfish. Superfish is super famous here on this channel, gifting memberships left and right. Phone lines are open if anybody wants to dial in. No new updates. Look at this Keon Coleman situation again. Look at this catch in practice. Oh my God. It's going to be such a great year for the Buffalo Bills. Such an underrated incoming season. David with the $13.99 update on my team of Bijan, AR5, Kyren, Achane, and Pacheco. Got Dell, DK, Metcalf. Told you you're going to get great wide receivers, bro, by going RB, RB, RB. Oh, don't go RB. People tell us that, right, David? They say, don't go RB, RB, let alone RB, 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 triple RB, Bijan, Kyren, Achane, AR5, and you got Dell, DK. Now, granted, you're in a grandma league for sure. Let's see who your quarterbacks. You got AR5. You got Fields. Hopefully you got Russell Wilson too, just to safeguard it. It looks like you didn't. Jalen Wright. That's okay. Christian Watson. You got A-Rod. I just saw that. You got A-Rod. I love it, bro. Absolutely love that team. Smitty approved.
You've just been.
I love going cheap at the QB2 like A-Rod when people are scared of him, or Penix Jr. with Kirk Cousins is so cheap in Dynasty. Great squad. Absolutely crush it. Bunch of grandmas in this league, bro. Dell, DK, Metcalf, Keon Coleman. It's got to be a two-man league. Actually, that looks like one of those heats you fill out at the bar, and they're like, just select, your favorite 10 guys. I think might be what it is. It's too good. That's way too good. $20 hauler. $20 hauler from Prolific. $20 hauler. Let's go.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
Brock, you're live. What can I do for you, Brock?
Yeah, what's up, Smitty? Quick question. So I'm in a 10-man league, one keeper. I'm keeping Bijan this year. How would you go about my draft, like in the first, second round, maybe third round, which I feel like is the most crucial as far as drafting-wise? Would you go wide receiver, maybe in the first round? I have the 6th pick in the first round, so it's a snake draft. So I don't know. I'm just want to pick your brain on it.
Bro, I don't know. It's so hard to suggest how to go in a draft without the flow. But what pick you in again?
Sorry, 7th.
7th in a Superflex, you said?
Nope, just a regular PBR league.
Yeah, I mean,
10-man.
Like traditionally, am I taking Bijan? Was taking Gibbs there, and not.
Oh right.
Hey, Casey, can you mute Casey? We'll come to you in a second.
Yeah.
So normally I'd take Breece Hall or Bijan. I definitely could take JJ there if I wanted to go.
I'm keeping Bijan.
Okay.
For my keeper, one keeper, Bijan. So.
Yeah,
I feel like I need to go receiver maybe first round, and then anchor or running back in the second round, maybe like a Kyren, and then go from there.
I mean, if you can get Kyren that late, sure, but I'm not afraid to go RB and then get like a Tank Dell and you could almost get like a Tank Dell and Devontae Smith. It sounds like in this format. If you can find Kyren in round 3, Kyren should be around 1, let alone round 2. So I'm not afraid to go Kyren in 2 to get him. Like if someone's gonna take him, I'm not afraid. Rock out. I think I missed your call. Calling again. I'm not afraid to take him in round 2 just to be safe. But I mean, there's no set plan, bro. There's no set like go wide receiver. I don't draft positions. I draft players. You're never gonna hear me say go wide receiver no matter what. Like you should get a running back and a wide. It's good to have balance, but you need to take the best player available. But I certainly don't mind like Debo. I don't mind MHJ in round 2. Those are fantastic wide receivers in round 2. And if you think you could get one of Achane or Kyren in round 3, or whatever the hell round we're talking about, you kept Bijan. So technically speaking, this is your second round pick. You're taking Kyren or Achane or Debo or MHJ. And then technically your third round player, your third drafted player, ends up being the Kyren or Achane. I smashed the hell out of that. And then I'm not afraid to punt wide receiver again and go with one of the big 3 or 4 quarterbacks. But I also don't mind going Tank Dell and then getting Love or AR5 later.
What about Devontae Adams? I mean, are you big on Devontae Adams or not?
Not at his 87 years of age in a bad offense with no quarterback. He's getting hospital. Like, look, he was frustrated last year. You think he's not going to be frustrated this year? I mean, Pierce crapped the bed. Just absolutely crapped the bed at QB. I don't know what in the hell he was thinking. He had Joe Milton there for a while, too, to take. He had Fields available to trade for. He absolutely did nothing. This guy sat... made this guy head coach, and then he took his hands, put him under his rear end, and sat on him. And just sat there. I don't understand. I don't understand why you would draft Brock Bowers. You got Devontae Adams 1 year left if you're lucky, and you don't go get a quarterback? Doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah. All right, one more question, and I need to know this from you. Where do you rank Kyle Pitts? I mean, do you think he's going to be better this year with
Top 5? Top 5? I mean, I don't know that I want to say he's better than McBride or better than Laporta or better than Kincaid, but I think like he is definitely right there with right below those guys and capable of being as good. Could he be tight end 1 overall? Sure, it's possible. It's not something I like. If you said, "Hey, will Njoku be tight end 1?" I'd say no. But could he be 4 to 7? That's great. Yeah, he could be. You know, could Goddard be 1? No. But could Goddard be 4 to 7? Yeah. So same thing, I think, there. But Kyle Pitts is capable of being 1. Like, so he's got a different overlap. He's certainly capable. I mean, look, he's got 2, in my opinion, elite quarterbacks. He has Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix Jr. in waiting. There's no safer player to draft than a Falcon player now. And that was not the case last year. All right, hang tight, Brock. I'll come back to you. Mute yourself. Casey, you're live. Go ahead. Yeah.
Hey, Smitty. So this ties in with Gibbs, because I know you said last question. I don't know if you meant on Gibbs. Is that what you meant? Last question, or were you talking to the previous guy? I don't know.
I don't know. Just ask your question.
Can you hear me?
Just go ahead.
Sorry. So I'm in a keeper league, and Bijan was my first pick last year, and you can only keep 2 picks, a draft and a free agent. And I got Achane off the waiver wire at 10. And then your keeper, you're supposed to go in the first round. And since I won my league, I can pick what pick I want. And here's where Gibbs comes in. Because no one's keeping Gibbs, but I was thinking keep Bijan at 8 and take him at the turn, because a lot of the guys like Kyren, Pacheco that you're pushing for the show, those guys are being kept. So what do you think about that idea? Do you think I should just go with the first round since I get to pick my pick with Bijan, or go at 8 and then go Gibbs at the turn? What do you think about that idea?
So you're keeping Bijan at 1.
I can either keep him at 1 or I can keep him at 8. But if I keep him at 1, the chances of me getting Gibbs is very unlikely. Like I get like the Marvin Harris.
Why would you? Explain to me why you would not keep him at 8.
The only reason why is because I'm scared of the quarterback run at round 4 and 5 at 8.
Yeah, I mean,
because I'm about early quarterback, and that's the only reason. Because if I go the first pick, I get my picks of Josh Allen or Mahomes, Hurts, all that. I've noticed when I've done mock drafts around the 8th pick, I don't get them around the 4 or 5.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you you're saying keep Bijan at 8 and then you can draft Josh Allen.
No. Keep Bijan, at the 8th overall
Or
pick,
Bijan, yeah.
and then get Gibbs at the turn.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay.
think that's a good
Look, these
idea?
are all winning. These are all winning, potential winning. This is not super flex, though, correct?
No. But it's
Okay.
double flex. My fault.
Well,
It's
double
heavy
flex
RB.
is fine, but as long as it's not super flex, double QB. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then look. This is if the early run on QB happens, it happens, bro. But I'm still all in on Gibbs at 2nd round value, absolutely. And I'm not. I mean, you could get Jordan. You can get Jordan Love. You can get AR5. You can get JD5. There's still gonna be a ton of quarterback options for you if somebody takes quarterbacks way too early. And if they do, then that means certain players are falling that shouldn't. You're getting Tank Dells now later than you should. You're getting Debo Samuel later than you should. I would go with the flow of the draft. I would not. It sounds like you're trying to plan it out. I can't tell you what it's gonna look like.
Yeah,
I would say
yeah,
Bijan and Gibbs is a damn good start, though. I'm not scared of drafting Gibbs in round 2. Not yet. Not yet. Is there a chance that this thing turns into something? I mean, I'm refreshing X as we go.
So this is why I asked you for the pick, because the guy who came in 2nd place has Christian McCaffrey, and he's not keeping him. And he took Gibbs in the 2nd, and whoever you pick as your first drafted player, they move up 2 spots. So I'm wondering if he is going to try to go grab Gibbs
I don't
too.
know,
So that's why I'm asking
this is
question.
pretty complicated for a phone call. I don't.
'Cause
There's
it's a keeper
there's a lot of
league.
layers
Sorry,
to this.
I'm
So yeah. I don't know. Hold on. I'll come back to you, bro. Luke, you're live.
Hey, what's up, Smitty? So I've been seeing a lot of good news on like Nick Chubb looking real good at practice. They're saying he might have an early return. I'm curious, do you think he'll be viable and worth the stash late round, or would you caution to stay away from him?
Nick Chubb's not even going. I don't think he's even cutting left and right yet.
Well, he's sprinting. They're saying he could have probably week 4, week 5.
Yeah, I don't.
Some practice at week 1.
I
I don't
mean,
think that's happening.
if you had Jerome Ford, would I draft Nick Chubb to cuff it? Yeah. I think that's not a bad idea, but the idea of him coming back to form is very slim to none chance. Could he return and vulture, and could it be kind of like a committee? I think it could, but this is going to be, they're going to try and throw more than ever in this Cleveland Brown offense this year. They don't throw a lot to Nick Chubb anyway. Jerome Ford's still going to be in the mix even when he comes back. And keep in mind, the moment he comes back, he's getting eased back in for several games. This is not one of those situations. Everything I've seen, everything I've looked at, everything I've read, everything I've seen with my own eyes tells me that it's not going to be a really early return. There's a chance he doesn't return till October. But we'll see. I know a lot of people want it to be the case, but keep in mind, a lot of people say this that have heavy investment in Nick Chubb. I don't know. Logic says you're a 28-year-old player that has had 2 of these injuries already. And it's the most gruesome knee injury we've ever seen, really. And he's only happened twice, and he's happened both to him. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. 28 years old. The arthritis is going to hit him so hard, so quick. Same thing that happened to Todd Gurley. Just boom, boom. You can't cut anymore. You can't hit the hole. I'm not saying I don't cuff him, and I'm not saying I don't grab him at the tail end of a draft. Sure. But, am I expecting him to come back to form? Absolutely not. But anything can happen, bro. Trust your gut. Cuffing him's not, let's say a miracle happens. Cuffing him's not a bad idea.
Fair enough.
All right. Luke, appreciate you. Later. Let me hit these super chats. By the way, I did this $20 celebration for Prolific. I don't think I read his message. Barkley at the top 3 running back this year. I think he's just making statements, but Keon Coleman will finish better than any Texan wide receiver. Dropped a Wild Wild West video. Smitty, the GOAT, all 3. Hey, Prolific, are you still here? First of all, I'm pretty sure you are, but I just want to make sure before I hit this button that let's see here. Smitty gives Superfish this for the 50 gifted. Joel, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Prolific, here you go. appreciate your Prolific for dropping that $20 hauler. Alec, I think I got Alec's message on screen here. Let me drop it here just in case. Thank you again, Prolific. Sorry about the wait on that one. Hopefully Prolific is still here. Bella, check yourself. $2 hauler says, I just got offered Barkley for Gibbs. I mean, look, they're arguable for sure. I mean, I like Barkley a lot this year. I would rather have Gibbs, but that's me. There's risk involved, but I don't know that we even know what the risk is right now. That's the part that, like. And Andy with a $10 hauler, appreciate you, Andy, for the 10 wad on screen. Prayers for Gibbs. Also get Superfish some coffee. Appreciate you dropping that, Andy, to the moon. Alex says, if you were drafting tomorrow, would you take Garrett Wilson 1.9 over Gibbs? Probably right now, because the ADP of Gibbs is going to be in round 2. So the answer to that would be yes. Not necessarily because I agree it should be there, but let's take advantage of the ADP. Pick number 9, plan is Gibbs, Kyren, first 2 picks. If big if Gibbs' injury isn't minor, do you like Saquon, JT, or maybe wide receiver at 1.9? I don't mind going wide receiver at this stage, but I would say, like, if I had, like, side by side leagues, I'd be going Garrett Wilson in 1. I'd be going Saquon in 1, Gibbs in 1. You know, they're all so close, but if push comes to shove, I'm taking Kyren over Gibbs right now. Just because I think Gibbs falls. I think Kyren goes up. The negative here is that Kyren's value is going to go up. Achan's value is going to go up potentially, because now Gibbs is a concern to people. So, you know, but that you got to either ride that train and say, this is good. I'm going to take Gibbs in round 2 every chance I get. But you're taking on a risk. You got to know that. We don't know the severity of anything yet, but I imagine that this thing is not as bad as people are making it out to be. I hope that we come back tonight, and I probably will. If there's some sort of positive update, just to reassure some people, and we don't have the last news report on this as being a questionable, unknown situation. Aldi, how close are we to 26K? Like the video, y'all. Aldi, we're really close. We're about 40 subscribers away from 26K. Appreciate you, my man. And we could get that on the show. If everybody watching right now, there's 500 people in the building. If everybody hit that subscribe button that was brand new to the channel, we get to 26K on this live stream. And I'll change the number behind my head right there to 26K. So if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and let's make history. Appreciate you. Rockout deserves his own emoji, says Superfish. I appreciate you, Superfish. And Rockout's on the phone right now. Rockout, let me answer these two, and I'm coming right for you. This one here, completely stuck in the 4th round, Tank or Devontae. I go Tank, personally. I love both of them. I don't think you're going wrong either way, though. And then this one, another coffee for Superfish. 60 gifted memberships total. Superfish is out of control right now in a very good way. Appreciate you. And then we have one more $20 hauler just because you're the mother freaking GOAT. Casey. No, Casey. You're the GOAT. Appreciate you.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Oh, and I heard someone talking on the phone line. That must be Casey. Casey, appreciate you.
I said yes, sir. You.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you. Casey, I'm coming right for you. Let me go to... Yeah, let me go to Rockout real quick because he's got a Marsman card, so unfortunately he jumps ahead of you, but you're next in line.
Sir.
Rockout, go ahead.
When it comes to like Kyren or Puka exploding, how many weeks of consistency it would take them? It takes players like that to be like the same trade value as a top 10 player.
Say that again. I'm trying to follow.
Like people, as far as players that explode because they're like sleepers or whatever, how many weeks of being like a top 10 player, they can be similar value as like a top 10 player that we had before the draft?
I don't know why I'm not following this question. Like you're just saying, like, how many weeks in a row does somebody have to be dropping like greatness before we climb them up in rankings, like, and solidify them?
Yeah, and as far as like having like the same like trade value.
I mean, like, let's say, give me an example, like Pacheco or something, or give me like a player of what you're trying to say.
Puka.
So Puka, I mean, he is a first rounder. So you're saying how many weeks does he have to play well or bad to move?
No, somebody like last year when he was like unknown and then he gained more value.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's very case by case. I don't think we can really like say, oh, if a player has 6 good weeks, we move him into the first round. Like I don't know. I mean, so much depends on the player, what round we're talking. It's a lot easier for an unknown player to reach like 4 or 5 round value than it is like round 1. Rarely going to have a Kyren or Puka ever really emerge, period. So I would just say, like, in general, you can't blanket statement that. I mean, I would say a lot of it's feel too, people have resistance to put an unknown player that high too. Puka's getting a little bit of scrutiny and he's banged up right now, so he's kind of all over the map. Some people are like, Cup is the guy now. Cup's the guy now. People hated Cup last year. People said Cup's trash. He's done. And in the early offseason when we talked about Cup being a steal in round 4, people are like, I'm not even drafting Cup. Now he's going in round 2. People are back on the Cooper Cup train. I don't know. I think Kyren and Cup are struggling, Rock Out, to retain that value that they've earned. So maybe the answer is it's rare that anybody ever can, consensus-wise, come from nowhere to become a top 10 player because people just want to resist it. They can't stand it. They're like, no, I didn't see it coming. That's the disease, is you can't see it coming, therefore it shouldn't be because it makes you feel bad about yourself. If you didn't see Puka coming, you didn't see Kyren coming, or you didn't get on board as quick as you should have, you're so mad about it and bent out of shape, you're going to continue to root against them, and it's going to burn you. So there's no real way.
Yeah.
There's no real way to answer that question. I wish there was, but there isn't. Prolific, appreciate
you. Did you fill the Patreon league with the 200 people?
We still have a little ways to go. We might end up capping it before 200 and just keeping it at a lesser number to make sure I don't scramble to fill it.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, hang tight real quickly. Did Prolific ever respond? I want to make sure Prolific is in here and saw my response. I'm sorry about the delay in reading the message too. All right, let's go over to Casey. Rock Out, hang tight. I'll come right back for you, pal. Casey, appreciate your $20 holler. What can I do for you?
Sure. So going back to that confusing question. So pretty much, I just want to know, Bijan at 8 do you think that's more solid than me going at 1? Because I won't know how the draft order players go because it's a keeper league, and I know a bunch of players are being kept like Puka, Derrick Henry, all those type of guys. So you think 8 is better than 1 with Bijan, especially that I get to pretty much set the tone of the draft, and I'm keeping Achane in the 10th round.
So you're picking your draft pick, essentially, is what you're saying. You're drafting
because I won the league, so I get to pick. I can pick whatever pick I want.
I mean, look, the number 1 is the best pick in the draft for a reason because you get that third rounder straight at the top. Whereas, like, you go 8 and you're spread out. The question is, how good is that third round pick going to be no matter what? I kind of feel like, I think at the end of the day, I think I'm going to say go 1. Put him at the 1.
Go 1?
Yeah, and if you think, is it 6 points per TD pass?
Yes.
Yeah, then I guess that'll change my...
Year, I'm the guy that makes early... Because
Bro, we can't hear you.
Because of that, and last year, everyone took a QB right before me, and I was like, whoa, in the 3rd round. I was like, I was going to wait till the 4th, but you guys are... So that's why I'm, like, kind of worried
Chase Brown
about going 1.
Yeah, I would say go 1, and if it's 6 point per TD pass, then I Smitty approve any of the big 3 QBs at the 2-3 turn.
So would you Smitty, even though it's an 8-man league, would you Smitty approve Mahomes or Allen at 3.1?
Yeah, that's what I just said, because I think that you need to set yourself apart from these other teams, and everybody's going to have a stacked team. And the one way you can do that in an 8 or a 10-man league is to have a top 3 QB. because there's going to be a discrepancy between the top guy. Now, is it Josh Allen? Is it Mahomes? You got to pick the right one. But
last year, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, Bijan, Jonathan Taylor. I just put a crazy team just because of you. Like anybody that talks crap about the show that gets mad, I'm like, no, you just didn't listen to his advice and his directions. When we got to pivot, it's time to pivot. Get off Kenneth Walker, like you were saying at one point in the year. Try to flip him into somebody else, So anybody that just discredits this show, they're not.
We don't need them.
Because we don't.
All right. Appreciate you, bro.
We don't.
Yeah, go one.
Yes,
go
sir.
one overall.
Go one? Okay. So that means I'm probably going to be in the Marvin Harrison Jr., then Smash Allen. And, going back to your Coleman, is that a stack? Let's say if I get Allen, Coleman, and Kincaid. Is that kind of a stack, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Or
Hell
not
yeah, it is.
really?
No, that's a stack, bro. Haven't you seen this?
The stack above all stacks.
Oh, yeah.
It's time
Yeah.
to drop
It's
the
a trip stack.
pancakey.
It's a trip stack, baby.
Yes, sir.
A trip stack. Do it live. But be careful not to reach on it, because in non-best ball, the stack doesn't really. It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's more fun. It's more extracurricular.
I reach so much in the 8-man league because I get so scared. I'm like, Smitty says you gotta have them. You gotta have them, and I get scared, so I start reaching. But okay, thank you so much.
All right, bro. Later. Thanks for the super chat. Rock out. What else you got? Anything else?
Yeah, does any of your strategies change? I know your best player available from a 1 flex to a 2 flex.
I mean, no. Again, on the clock. I mean, of course, the board's gonna fall different, but I'm always best player available. The only time you hear me say things sometimes I catch myself. Sometimes I catch myself saying something that sounds like I'm a set plan guy on this particular approach, but really what I'm trying to tell people is that I've drafted so much from the 10, 11, 12, in these underdog drafts, I can kind of predict what I'm going to like. But other than that, I will fall into a different approach if the board falls differently. But I can tell you that I love RB this year, and that confuses people when I say that because they're like, I thought you didn't like a certain set of strategy. I'm just saying, based on the amount of drafts, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of best ball drafts I've done, pretty much maxed out weeklies. I didn't get the last 5 in, but I maxed out weeklies. I'm going to max out best ball mania. And I'm telling you, I continuously draft RB on a 70% clip. And that might fail on a lot of those teams because the receivers don't fall. But the ones where they did, you better mother freaking watch out. That's why I love it. You're driving against traffic, and I find the right path and avenue to get in. I want to be sailing. But, I mean, nothing's going to change my general approach of letting the draft dictate what I do. Always, always, always. Doesn't matter if it's 3 flex, doesn't matter if it's super flex, doesn't matter if it's 8 quarterback. It's best player available is it ebbs and flows. It changes and manipulates based on the draft board and the position of need and all of that. Who you're drafting with. Are you drafting with a bunch of early QB drafters? Are you in a super flex where a lot of people don't draft early QBs? And you know that. Then your best player available is going to change. It's always evolving.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
All right, bro. Anything else?
That's it for now.
All right, man. Well, hey, call back if you got anything else. Rock out to the moon. Casey to the moon. I'll see you boys later. Call in if you got another one, Casey. All right? All right, later. Super chat. Mahmood says your ceiling for Pacheco. I think he'll outdo his ADP. I agree. Depends. His ADP in non-best ball home league is second round. That's high. His ADP in best ball underdog fantasy promo code Smitty, where we draft over and over and over. 6:48 p.m. Okay. We draft over and over, and using code Smitty, I'm going to drop the link right now if anybody wants to draft with us. We may not draft tonight. Remind me to drop a private league link in the chat before we leave, but they'll match your first deposit 50% at Underdog using code Smitty, and I will pin the link right now so you guys can jump in and make sure you're prepared and ready to draft at midnights with us, because we draft most midnights, and that link is what you want to click and get it all going. But yeah, Pacheco will outproduce his third or fourth round ADP in best ball. He'll be hard pressed to like crush it at second round value in non-best ball, but he certainly could. And I love him. I just don't know if I love him as a second drafted player as much as a third. So I kind of let him try and slip into my third drafted player, and if he gets sniped, he gets sniped. I don't think I force Pacheco in round 2. Doesn't mean I hate it. I just don't force it. Superfish says Chase Brown, and Superfish dropped another 10 or 20 gifted memberships a little bit ago. Superfish, appreciate you. Everybody, if you got a gifted membership from Superfish, please thank Superfish right now. Drop a dolphin. That would please Superfish. Drop a dolphin emoji to show your appreciation. Terry Roberts at Silver Rapture said Superfish has missed Super Chat Bro. I don't. Let me see. Terry said you missed a Super Chat earlier. Let me search for Superfish and see if it's very possible. I wouldn't put it past myself. Mr. Live loved the Packers video. I got that. Rockout deserves his own emoji. Superfish then dropped this one. Chase Brown. I think I got all of them. All right, John John just hung up right when he was ready to head to the front stage. John got a little nervous. Let's go to Fitzy. Fitzy, please report. Hold on, Fitzy. Fitzy, please report to the front stage. Fitzy, go ahead. What's up, Fitzy?
What's up, Smitty? So my draft tomorrow night, I got the third pick. I'm keeping Puka. It's a keeper league. I'm thinking about going like either Jahmyr Chase or Tyreek Hill at 3. So having both Puka and Jahmyr, and then I don't know. Do you like A-Chain and Josh Jacobs? Did you go A-Chain in the second and Josh Jacobs in the third?
I mean, I could see. Again, generally speaking, I don't mind what you're spitting out here.
Look, I was thinking about even going maybe Jahmyr, A-Chain, and then Mahomes in the third.
I like that.
But it's kind of early.
Not really.
So it's like
it's early.
Either we like Josh Jacobs more than Mahomes or not.
No, not more than Mahomes. If Mahomes is there,
it's worth the reach.
I don't even think it's a reach. He has third round kind of ADP in best ball or non-best ball. He has fourth round ADP in non-best ball, sometimes like top of round 5. But I think Mahomes, generally speaking, now your league might be slightly different. I can't control all that. But in non-best ball home leagues, he's a third round quarterback pretty easily.
It is a 4-point CD league too. That's the thing about too.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I just wanted some food for thought with that.
I'm not really into drafting Puka right now in the first round just because.
No, Jahmyr.
What?
Or Tyreek. And I'm keeping.
Oh, that's right. You're keeping. Okay. Yeah. Tyreek Hill over Jahmyr right now. Jamar's holding in. I don't know. Holding in and holding out are the same thing, really. I mean, he's there at least in spirit.
I mean, is there a chance that both Jahmyr and CD hold out? I think there is.
The thing about it, we got to understand that many people are going to say no way, right? Why? Because historically it hasn't happened, right? But the thing we got to remember is these guys are getting so much money now that they can afford to say, you know what? I'm going to get $130 million guaranteed next year. Or eventually this is going to force them to pay me. Maybe Lamb gets $115 instead of $111. Like, by holding out, he's getting $4 million more guaranteed dollars. I don't know that. I mean, missing 4 or 5 games for Ceedee Lamb to get $115 million guaranteed versus $111, it's not risky. So I think we're in uncharted territories that we want to say we know how it's going to go, but I think that's reckless because this money is so out of control that they don't need any. This is way more money than these guys. Well, they could spend it, but it's way more money than most people could spend, and you're getting it guaranteed. That 120. I don't know. it's tough to say. I'd be lying if I told you that I felt comfortable saying that they'll be back. The odds are they will show up, but I don't know, bro.
I don't know. I'm getting a gut feeling. I think we're gonna.
Well,
see some
Jahmyr
build-up.
Chase is gonna show up. I could almost say that with 100% certainty because he's on his 4th year.
I don't
He's
know
not.
Ceedee Lamb though.
He's not in his 5th year option. You know, it's a whole different ball game for a player that's like Ayuk, who's on his 5th year option right now, and Jahmyr Chase is trying to get it a year early. You know what I mean? Like, he's not even on his 5th year. Jamar's a little greedy. He's a little greedy trying to get it. I'm not saying other players haven't done it, so the precedent's been set, but you don't have as much of a leg to stand on to be like, yeah, you know what? I want it a year early. So I think Jahmyr Chase is there. He's holding in. If that doesn't tell you that he's weaker than Ceedee Lamb on his stance, I don't know what does. He's in there with the helmet, pad, and he's sitting there catching footballs on the jug machine. And Lamb's back playing video game. He's dropping LOLs to his owner when his owner says something, bad about him. He doesn't give a crap, bro. He looks like he's the last person that's going to walk in that front door tomorrow. Jahmyr Chase is already there. So that speaks volumes as to how far is Jahmyr Chase going to push us when he's already holding in. He's not holding out.
Yeah, so basically, okay, I'm going to ask you this. So I got the 3rd pick, right? I think McCaffrey goes. I think Tyreek Hill might go too. So you like Jahmyr Chase over like...
Hey, Smitty, sorry, I'm on mute.
You like Jahmyr Chase over like Jefferson?
Or
like CD?
It's so close, bro. I can't. There's no way to really
It's
answer
splitting
that.
hair. It's splitting hair.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, I think the problem with today's football situation in the landscape is that we're doing so many drafts. I can afford to just take different, versions of this. Like, I can take JJ in one. I can take, and that's great. That's what's great about Underdog. That's why I love this, is we don't have to stick to anything. But, I know that some of us have that 1 or 2 buddy leagues that is more important.
This is my league.
Yeah,
like,
and so
you
got to say, this or this. I'd probably say I go Lamb. But you got to know what you're signing up for. You got to know what you're signing up for. There's risk involved. He's a young specimen. I think he'll probably stave off injury, but there's an injected injury risk. I think Jahmyr Chase is a little more injury risk for me because he has a history of injury. I think JJ's probably you can't even say JJ's not an injury risk. I mean, he's coming off a year.
Yeah, because he hurt himself last year.
No, so it's really close. Give me Lamb.
It really is kind of.
Give me Lamb.
Why don't I just take Bijan at 3 and then we'll just move on?
Well, yeah. I mean, you didn't ask me that. I mean, just take Bijan.
I mean, you like Bijan better than anybody. So.
Yeah, do it live. All right, later, bro. All right, Fitzy, thanks, appreciate you. John from Cali, what's up, John?
Hey, Smitty, thanks for taking the call. I just wanted to get your thoughts on Malachi Corley and Ben Sinnott after seeing their performances in the preseason, and whether you're higher or lower on them. So Corley and Sinnott, obviously, Sinnott all the way, possibly, and whether or not you're going to take him in redraft. And then the last one would be based on the Chargers RB situation, and supposedly people are on the chopping block, particularly Bidell. Are you taking any shares of Isaiah Spiller towards the 18th or 17th round? That's all I got. So Ben Sinnott, Corley, Chargers RB situation.
Corley, I don't know. I like him. I think he's kind of a guy that you just got to wait until later. I have a feeling Corley, if he's drafted, he'll be cut, and then he'll become a relevant waiver wire guy later. That's not a negative comment. That's just being real about where I think people can wait and be patient on him. So I think even if we like him and we draft him in a medium size, even semi-medium to large league, we might be cutting him. I don't know. We'll have to see. I definitely like him a lot. I definitely loved him walking into the draft. And I think he could be a midseason monster more than anything. But I'm not writing him off. If you have a big, deep league, you could definitely, stash him and wait. As far as Ben Sinnott, I mean, we've been hearing reports that Ben Sinnott he's gonna be slow coming along. He's gonna be a blocker. essentially they brought him in to block, and the offensive line's struggling, right? So he might be blocking a lot, and don't be surprised if it takes a whole year for him to. And then he looks good. He looks so good. I love Ben Sinnott. I love Ben Sinnott. There's a reason Ben Sinnott is a midseason monster. I believe he's on the mid. Let me pull it up. There he is. There he is. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him.
The Moon Man.
I just want to make sure he's not on the Moon Man board. He was on the Moon Man. We moved him to the midseason monster just because, we don't know if it's happening in week 1. The midseason monster is the Moon Man list essentially, but eventually they become a Moon Man. So there is the shot that he gets injected slowly, but he looks so good. I would say Chargers, don't hold your breath on any Charger play. Like Vidal might not even. I mean, this is what I said when we were talking about Vidal. Is like I like him a lot, but trusting this babbling Harbaugh, and when he talks about anything, it's you question whether he knows what he's saying. And I just don't trust him. I don't trust him. I'm not saying he can't win, squeak out some wins through the trenches. I get it. I understand the message. I heard it. I've heard it over and over and over. I get where you pro-Charger fans are coming from. Smitty is building from the trenches. You think you know more than Harbaugh? Like, I don't think I could coach better than Harbaugh. I'm not saying that, but I could build a better team. I guarantee you. I 100%, 1,000% can build a better team than Harbaugh. Because all I would have to do is not get rid of certain players, and it would already be better. All I'd have to do is bring in an actual running back. Do I think I can evaluate who a better running back is than Harbaugh when he looks at Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins and says, "These are my workhorse, my finishers"? Yeah, I'm sorry. Arrogant of me? I guess so. But Vidal I still like, but what are we doing? And Spiller, let me tell you something about Spiller. He had some of the worst metrics his rookie year at the Combine. Bottom of the barrel in every single category. And in college, he wasn't even the best player in his running back room in college. Every metric you look at, when he would get taken out of the game, his backups would play better than him every single time. Spiller is very average. Now, could he have grown a little bit in the NFL? Sure. Is there an opportunity that he can play a lot better than he's capable of because of situation and that Harbaugh is going to run? Certainly possible. Do I think that the Charger running back stable is going to surprise us at some point? I do. I don't even know what that means. I just know that whatever we think we know, it's not going to happen. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. I want nothing to do with the Chargers. Nothing to do with them.
I think there could be like a Cam Akers situation for a couple weeks, and then they just all fall off the cliff.
I don't know. I honestly, I don't know what he's going to do. I think nobody knows what he's going to do. J.K. Dobbins is coming off an Achilles tear. You don't return to top 10 running back form with an Achilles tear. You never do. I assume someday somebody will, but no one in the history of the NFL has become or returned to top 10 running back status after an Achilles tear. Ever. And he's coming off an ACL tear the year prior. Gus Edwards. It's the all ACL and Achilles team. I just don't understand it. Vidal I like a lot. We liked him when he landed there. We're like, okay, now the Chargers got somebody, but does Harbaugh know? I know we drafted him, but does he know? I don't know if he knows. Somebody want to tell him Vidal's the best running back on the roster? I don't know if he knows. I don't know if he knows. And I don't know that I can hold him long enough. There's like in certain leagues, there's too many other players you got to pick up. Like Dotson's out there in a smaller 10-man league. Dotson's sitting there. Pearsall's there, and you're wondering, okay, what if Ayuk gets shipped in the last second? I want to pick up Pearsall. You can't hang on to Vidal in a small league, waiting for him to rise up and pass 2 running backs, maybe 3. You can't wait. Is he going to be a waiver wire grab at some point? Probably. Is Malachi Corley, Vidal, Penix Jr., Joe Milton? Like these are names that hit waiver wire shows for a reason because doors open. But I don't know, John. I don't know. All right, John, I got to go. Last question. Go.
Are you taking any shares in Marvin Mims? this year now that he's in the second dude on the roster?
Yeah, I get in best ball. I don't know that I'd trust him in non-best ball, but in best ball, you know, sure. Yeah. I mean, he does seem like, it seems like he's Peyton's guy. He's talked about him for 2 years now, or last year, and then now he's starting to see it. I think he's Peyton's guy. I think Peyton really likes him. And that matters a lot. So I'm going to say, like, in best ball, sure. Sure.
Appreciate it, Smitty. Have a great night.
All right, later, bro. All right, let's go to Casey real quick. Last question, Casey, and then I gotta run. Hello.
You're on mute, brah.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up? We can't hear you, Casey. We can't hear you, Casey. You have to call back.
Can you hear me?
No, we can't hear you. We heard calling from. Look, you called from Mars. At least pull the antenna out. Eddie, final thoughts, Eddie. Superfish, another 10.
How would you feel about? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Moon.
How would you feel about grabbing like a Corum or a Benson, even if you don't have, like, even if you're not able to grab like a Kyron or a Connor? Or do you think it's just a waste of a pick?
If I draft two without what?
So, like, essentially, if you drafted Corum, but you weren't able to get Kyron early, is that worth it in your eyes in redraft?
Well, I mean, are you going to draft Corum without knowing whether you have Kyron or not? Like the way you worded that. Would I draft a standalone Corum? Sure. Absolutely. And hold it over that person's head. It maybe opens the door to a Kyron trade later because they can't sleep at night. And I'm like, I'm not giving you Corum. And they may go, okay. Well, and then later on, they're like, okay, here, take him. I don't know. He gets banged up. Maybe he gets banged up a little bit again, and it's not a big deal. And someone's like freaking out. But I certainly grab Corum all day long. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe in Kyron. Kyron is a top 1 to 5 running back. But there's a lot of avenues to get open by that. I definitely grab him. But do I always grab him? No. I mean, it depends who's there. You know, like would I pass on a really, really good I don't know. Would I pass on a really good wide receiver and I needed one over Corum? Not necessarily.
Yeah. Especially if, like, Kyron, like, first couple weeks doesn't do as well as people expected. I feel like he could be a good buy low, and then you already got Corum.
Yeah. Just everybody's asking about the Gibbs stuff at random. Again, not a sure, we don't know what's going on other than he had a hamstring injury. Don't know to the severity level, and it could be something very minor. It could just be a strain. It could be just soreness or something like that, preemptive. I mean, Christian McCaffrey had a similar thing calf-wise, and people are, initially were worried about it, but like no one's even really freaking out at all. But everyone and their mother is like, Gibbs, he's done. He's out 6 weeks. Like, calm down. Okay, Eddie, last question. Did I answer your question or no?
No, yeah. I got no more.
Okay, appreciate it, bro. Later.
Gotcha.
Alec, $10 holler. My man.
To the moon.
Alec to the moon. Alex says, just did a mock draft and got Wilson 1.9, Gibbs 2.4, taking that every single day of the week without thinking twice. The injury could be a blessing in disguise. I mean, that's what we were saying. Definitely could be. And Torch with a $2 holler. Starting my research, we got a Moon Man list yet. Torch, what are you doing, bro? Really? It's your first show this year? I'm happy to have you anytime, but good God, this is your first show. Where it's August 12th. You're at least 12. If you're gonna be a late Lonnie, at least be here August 1. I mean, showing up and asking who's on the Moon Men list, Saturn Men list, Mars Men list, and August 12th is that's some late. It's a late appearance, my guy. Jared, appreciate you. Do you like Deontay Johnson? Not particularly, bro. I think people overdraft him every year. I mean, what's his offense is, I don't know. Could he be force fed? Sure. Is he? Depends where you're getting him. If he's like your third or fourth wide receiver, I don't mind that. Am I drafting a lot of them? No, I haven't noticed that his ADP falls in line with mine at all, but it doesn't mean I'm hell-bent against somebody else taking the gamble. He's not an absolute bust at his ADP. If he was going in the second and third round like he was a couple years ago, was that last year or was that the year prior? I even forget. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? I couldn't believe my eyes. Every day I'd yell at people. Be like, why are you drafting Deontay in the second round? What a waste of a pick. And so now he's going very late, so it's not horrible. Give this coffee to Superfish. Appreciate you, Joel. Thank you for dropping a super chat wad on screen. I think it's 2 years ago. But people are drafting this guy in the second round. Second, third turn, too. Like, occasionally went higher than that. It was insane. He'd go, like, top around 2 once in a while. People like, Deontay's going to the moon! It's like just crazy. Can Darnold take them to the playoffs? Darnold is going to be lucky to hang on to the job for long at all, you know. And honestly, I don't think Darnold should be starting. I think you want to put J.J. McCarthy out there now and let him learn. I don't even get it. I don't even get it at all. Superfish, appreciate you. Received the coffee. That's all she wrote for now. We'll be back later on probably Gibbs news. If we have a Gibbs update, I'll be back on a live stream. We'll be back. Don't worry. Appreciate you all. Moon Man list.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
Mars Men list.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Men. Loads dropping and spinning in.
The Saturn Men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
I'll see you all later. Appreciate you. Live Monday through Friday. Every single Monday through Friday. But the continuum of the gigawatt component structure of Jahmyr Gibbs' workload divide has a megawatt offload that if you compartmentalize the component conjunction timekeeper and you flux capacitor out the continuum component megabolt, things just end up happening. And that's why Jahmyr Gibbs is a top 5 to 10 running back instead of top 6 to 10.
Got him.
I'll let you know as soon as I know. Don't be a panic, Peter, but be a semi-careful Caleb. Semi. Superfish, appreciate those gifted memberships that keep rolling in. Thank you all my super chatters tonight. I mean, we had a boatload of you. Riff coming in strong. Legend, Joel, Handed, Togo, Mahmood, Zach, Superfish, Tucker, 333, Bailey, Channel, Lift, Edward, EW Rock, Rock Out, Aldi, Superfish, Evan, Jaime, Alec, David, Prolific with the 20 watt, Joel, Andy S, Bella, check yourself. Joel, KC, appreciate you, KC. Mahmood again, Superfish, Terry Roberts, Alec, Torch, Jared, and Joel Bailey, appreciate you all. And Superfish dropping just massive gifted memberships. I want to say, so Joel dropped 5. Joel, appreciate you dropping 5 gifted memberships. Superfish dropping a 10 wad. Joel dropped a 10 wad another additional time. Andy dropped a 10 wad. And Superfish dropped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 wads. All right, see you all later. Appreciate you. Probably back tonight if there's breaking news.